Right here where I'm standing, there used to be nothing more than marshland, mosquitoes and a struggling wooden fort. Today, the downtown Fort Myers River District brings in millions. The bit that happened in between, well, that's a story that most people have never heard.
From cattlemen to lawmakers, from soldiers to inventors, this city has an incredible history. It's not been all plain sailing though. Come with me as we discover this amazing city, its trials and tribulations. Let's see how it's morphed into one of Southwest Florida's most visited places. Fort Myers history dates back to the Seminole War of 1835 to 1842. The US Army had an operation at Fort Delaney, which was located at Punta Rassa and the mouth of the Caloosahatchee River. The fort was destroyed by a hurricane in 1841, so Army operations were moved further inland along the Caloosahatchee River to the location of downtown Fort Myers today. It was originally named Fort Harvey. The fort was later named after Brevet Colonel Abraham Charles Myers. Within a couple of years, the Seminoles were believed to be largely defeated. The fort was abandoned. Fast forward a couple of years later, and there was a resurgence in the Seminole Wars. The fort was reinstated, but once again, with the belief the Seminole problem had been largely solved, the fort was deemed surplus to requirements and closed down. So the fort was left to decay. That was until the Civil War started, and once again, the fort was repaired and reoccupied for several years. After the fort was abandoned for the last time, the area was largely unchanged. The main industry in Fort Myers was cattle farming. Cattlemen like Jake Summerlin and James McKay exported cattle to Cuba via Punta Rassa. In 1885, Thomas Edison, the inventor, visited Fort Myers for the first time. During that visit, he purchased a 13-acre parcel of land along the Caloosahatchee River, less than a mile from downtown. In subsequent years, Thomas Edison, along with his wife Mina, became regular winter visitors. In the early 1900s, Fort Myers started to become a popular winter escape, helped in part by Thomas Edison and his friends, a group that called themselves the Four Vagabonds. These four men took motor camping trips to escape the northern winter cold. For all intents and purposes, these guys were the industrial rock stars of their time, comprised of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the incandescent light bulb, the phonograph and the motion picture camera, Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, Harvey Firestone, the founder of the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, and John Burroughs, a naturalist, essayist and writer. Henry Ford, along with his wife Clara and son Edsel, made several trips to the Edison home in Fort Myers. In 1916, Ford purchased a home next to the Edison winter estate. The Fords also became regular winter residents. Both the Edison home and the Ford home are open to the public to this day, along with Edison's laboratory. It's well worth a visit. It's called the Edison and Ford Winter Estates. 1885 was a pivotal time for downtown Fort Myers. Lee County was created. By 1904, a coastal railroad was constructed that stopped at Monroe Street. That led to a boom of development that lasted into the 1920s. A power station, an ice plant, and lots of commercial and residential real estate were to follow. The Tamiami Trail was opened, joining Tampa to Miami, now known as US 41.
You'd think Fort Myers would be unstoppable at this point, but history had other plans.
The Great Depression in the 1930s hit hard and had a major effect on the area. Then World War II came around. The following years produced lackluster improvements downtown. Some would say it was due to bad management, some would say a lack of marketing, but for whatever reason, development of the downtown Fort Myers area was very slow. That was pretty much the story up until the turn of the millennium. Downtown Fort Myers was less of a geographical and social epicenter, but more of a city that existed to accommodate the legal system and federal buildings. The city comprised of courts, law enforcement, lawyers, bail bondsmen, the jail, and all the associated cottage industries like press printers, dry cleaners, barbers, and sandwich shops. Sure, there were a few established bars and restaurants, hotels and a movie theatre, but for the most part, downtown Fort Myers was not a first-choice destination for recreation. Restaurants and hotels came and went. Areas looked neglected. It was not considered the safest place to be. Businesses did not want to invest in the area, and visitors were a scarcity. Now bear with me at this point, it's important and relevant to see how we get to today. In the early 2000s, things started to change. The City of Fort Myers Community Redevelopment Agency wanted to come up with a plan to stimulate the economic growth of downtown Fort Myers. Over the next several years, a plan was conceived. By 2010, the City Council gave final approval. The plan included a convention centre and hotel, pedestrianised public spaces, improved parks, a new water retention basin, and riverfront public access. They also wanted to make downtown a cultural hub by preserving history and hosting events. This entire plan would culminate in what is now known as the Fort Myers River District. And it worked. Investors started to flood in. New shops, cafes, bars, breweries and restaurants have opened. Hotels started to be renovated, historic buildings rejuvenated, and that brings us to today. It's great to see the already established businesses like the Franklin Shops that have been a retail space since 1937. The beautiful Veranda restaurant established in 1978. The City Tavern, the Cigar Bar have all flourished, while new businesses are not just investing in downtown, they are thriving. The effect of the redevelopment plan reminds me of the great movie quote from The Field of Dreams. You build it, they will come.
Downtown Fort Myers has morphed into this almost unrecognisable city.
A vibrant city with a fantastic atmosphere. It has everything you could need: a state-of-the-art library, historical buildings, open spaces, a marina. It has buildings like the Sidney and Berne Davis Art Center, the Florida Rep, the original train station, the Borough's Home, the courthouses, the Heitman Home. Not to mention there are many holiday events like the dropping of the ball on New Year's Eve, monthly events including art walks, music walks. It truly has turned into a magical place. Lee County currently boasts around 5 million visitors a year. Many of those now turn to downtown Fort Myers, not only as a side visit, but a primary destination.
And when you walk through downtown Fort Myers today, you can feel the difference.
This once overlooked district has been transformed into one of the most walkable, livable and inviting spots in Southwest Florida. Spanning just a few compact historic blocks, the downtown core is now a hub of activity, where old Florida charm meets a new creative energy. On any given weekend, the streets are filled with people. You'll see families heading to breakfast at one of the many cozy brunch spots, couples exploring boutiques and galleries, and locals walking their dogs past restored 1920s storefronts. There are now more than 60 restaurants and bars packed into this tight, vibrant area. Everything from casual bites and local breweries to upscale rooftop cocktail lounges with sweeping views of the Caloosahatchee River. The architecture itself feels like a time capsule with layers. It's a mix of Mediterranean revival, turn-of-the-century brickwork with a little Wild West flair thrown in. Some buildings still bear the names of early Fort Myers families. Others, like the historic post office or the Banyan Hotel, have been lovingly preserved while adapted for modern life. And right alongside these landmarks, you'll find bold new additions like the cool indoor-outdoor venue called Soho, or the trendy Bay Street Yard Bar, which is an open-air venue made from shipping containers. And chic venues like the Speakeasy Bar with a secret door called the Escondido Lounge. The Lucky Screw, which is a modern venue with a nice mix of sports and music, each adding a fresh twist to downtown's personality. At the cultural heart of it all is the Florida Repertory Theatre, which puts on first-class professional theatre and continues to draw sell-out crowds with award-winning productions. The Sidney and Berne Davis Art Centre is just a short walk away, housed in a stately former federal building. It's now home to art exhibits, performances, lectures and community events that run year-round. Caloosahatchee Amphitheatre, where outdoor concerts light up the riverbank. The marina's being completely redone, inviting boaters, locals and visitors alike to dock and stay a while. A stroll along the riverwalk gives you a full view of just how much this city has reconnected with its water. Right on the water's edge, Oxbow Bar Grill, built on the historic site of the original ferry pier, offers fresh seafood and unforgettable sunsets over the Caloosahatchee Bridge. And just steps away, high above the city, atop the Luminary Hotel, Beacon Social Drinkery serves craft cocktails with some of the best rooftop views in Fort Myers. This part of Fort Myers has become more than a place to visit. It's a place to stay. Whether it's a weekend getaway or a longer stay, everything is accessible without needing to drive. You can walk to breakfast, lunch, dinner, museums, theatres, parks, and rooftop bars. Everything within a few blocks. And if you want to explore further, Sanibel, Captiva, Naples, and even Sarasota are all easy day trips. But more and more people are choosing to stay right here, because what was once a struggling downtown has quietly become one of Florida's most thriving small cities. Even long-time locals who remember the before times are amazed by this change. The streets that were once empty after 5 p.m. are now full of energy late into the evening. And long-time businesses like the Veranda and City Tavern aren't just surviving, they're thriving right alongside the newcomers. So whether you're here for a concert, a cocktail, a bit of history, or just a riverside sunset, downtown Fort Myers has something to offer. Because after years of setbacks and stalled progress, this city has finally found its stride and turned its downtown into a place that feels like home to everyone. My name is Nick Adams. Come and join me on the next one.
Thanks so much for joining us on this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the little notification bell. That way, every time we bring out new content, it'll go straight to your inbox. Also, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got any comments about the video, any subject matter that you want to see in the future, put it in the comments below and we look at every comment and we'll respond. Thanks very much, guys. Have a good one.